There could be many reasons you are attending this service today, whether in person or tuning in on YouTube. But I would venture to guess that it mainly comes down to these two. You are grieving someone who died, recently or not recently. Or you want to honor the memory of those in this community and offer support. Perhaps a combination of these. It is said that at any given time, 90% of the world is grieving. With that much grief, we might think that we are all well-versed and understand its movements. Yet each instance is deeply personal and can feel like an out-of-body experience, or so foreign and confusing that we may feel as if we are wandering in the dark, desperately searching for light. While we might expect grief to get smaller over time, what happens instead is that we eventually learn how to live our life around our grief. Over time, our life gets bigger than our grief as we put one foot in front of the other, day by day, month by month, year by year. While there are cases of complex relationships, grief is the price we pay for having had the opportunity to experience love. Grief can bring many feelings. All of them are valid. There is also no right or wrong way to grieve or express grief. Each person has to do what is meaningful and cathartic for them. In the beginning, these feelings can overwhelm us to the point of being numb, all the feelings all at once. As time goes on, we ever so slowly adapt. And even months or years later, there is always a chance that grief and its myriad feelings will appear seemingly out of nowhere. It can be a smell, a song, a place, a memory, or it can be completely unprompted. It can bring a smile to our face. It can bring a deep sadness to our hearts, or both. People have compared grief to the ocean. Sometimes the waves are small and manageable. Sometimes the water is choppy and difficult to navigate. And other times we can be knocked off of our feet with large waves and feel pounded by the water, unable to stand back up for moments, hours, or even days. As human beings, we are wired to avoid pain, physically and emotionally. Grief can be both, but the emotional toll can be absolutely exhausting, where no amount of sleep is going to allow us to feel rested. The heaviness of it can be like wearing a lead jacket. We get to a point where we're not wearing the lead jacket all the time, but it's still always hanging in our closet. Grief is not something that we can go around. We must go through it. We must feel what we feel and allow ourselves to sit in that pain, that sorrow, that despair, that anger, whatever is in that moment, so that we can allow ourselves the opportunity to begin healing. And when we talk about healing and grief, healing does not mean we forget about our loved one or that our grief is gone. Healing means that we are no longer engulfed by and living within what I call the grief concentrate. Healing increases over time. We slowly dip our toe outside of grief proper and learn hour by hour, day by day, how to navigate with the grief, how to live this next chapter without the person or persons we lost. There is no set timeline for the grieving process. Some might say that they're in a better place, that they are with us in spirit, or that they aren't suffering any longer. And while some or all of those may be true, it doesn't mean that we miss them any less, or that we wouldn't give anything to have them physically to hold on to today. One of the amazing things about recovery is the ability to feel our emotions. And sometimes feelings around grief can be so powerful and painful that we might begin to second guess being able to feel our emotions. It may feel like we are dying because a heartbreak is so crushing. We may be tempted to think back to our days in active addiction and what substances could do for us, namely numbing the pain. As we have learned in recovery, besides the inordinate amount of havoc and destruction that our use can inflict on our life and those around us, substances prevent us from being able to process. They prevent us from being honest. And we can't selectively numb. Substances dull the pain, but also the joy. So how do we get through it? A higher power, whatever that looks like for you, can be a source of comfort in times of distress. Prayer can be a powerful tool to allow us to withstand the feelings that grief brings. Asking for what you need is another helpful way to get through the hours, days, and months. This includes saying no and setting boundaries when necessary. People will understand. And if they don't, that's on them. This also includes being gentle with yourself. You are doing the best that you can. And this is hard, hard stuff. This is hard, hard stuff. Lastly, remember that there is help available and a community that supports you. This alumni community at Caron, your home group, religious or civic organizations, family, friends, as well as grief counselors and therapists. You don't have to do this or anything alone. In fact, doing it all on your own can prove dangerous. Each person's grief is unique, just like our relationships with our deceased loved ones. You might be tempted to think that no one could ever understand, and that is true in certain ways. And you'd be surprised how much so many people do understand about grief and its effects. There is something to be said about the collective grief that we share as human beings. There is connection in that. You are not alone. We are not alone. We have a higher power. We have one another. We have agency. We have sobriety and recovery, and therefore, hope for the future. Like our recovery, with grief, it's helpful to focus on one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 moment at a time. Be of good courage. All shall be well. I will leave you with a quote from Earl Rawlman. Grief is not a disorder, a disease, or sign of weakness. It is an emotional, physical, and spiritual necessity. The price you pay for love. The only cure for grief is to grieve.